First contact and looming threat. The year was 2150, and Earth had changed dramatically since the tumultuous events of the early 21st century. Climate crises had been averted, global cooperation had reached unprecedented levels, and humanity had taken its first tentative steps into the solar system. Lunar base thrived, Mars hosted a small but growing colony, and probes ventured ever deeper into the cosmic unknown. Dr. Samara Patel stood at the heart of the Global Space Agency's primary control center in Nairobi, her dark eyes fixed on the massive holographic display dominating the room. For years, she had led the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, poring over countless signals from the depths of space. Most had been false alarms, pulsars, quasars, or other natural phenomena. But this was different. "Play it again," she commanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The technician nodded, and once more, the strange, rhythmic pulses filled the room. It was beautiful in its airiness, a symphony of mathematics and purpose that could only be artificial in origin. "It's real," whispered her colleague, Dr. Chen Wei, his eyes wide with wonder. "After all this time, we finally found them." Samara nodded, a mix of excitement and trepidation churning in her stomach. "All they found us." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. As news of the signal spread, the world held its collective breath. Religious leaders sought meaning in ancient texts, philosophers debated the implications for human identity, and governments scrambled to present a united front to whatever lay beyond the stars. In orbit, the solar system's defensive grid, a network of satellites and automated weapon platforms, was brought to full alert. It had been built to protect against asteroids and comets, not alien invasions, but it was the best humanity had. Samara found herself at the center of it all, briefing world leaders and coordinating the global response. The signal's origin had been traced to a point just beyond the orbit of Saturn, and all eyes were on that distant spot of space. 63 days after the initial detection, they arrived. The Zirconian fleet materialized in a blaze of light, their massive ships distorting the very fabric of space-time as they emerge from faster-than-light travel. There were dozens of them, sleek, predatory vessels that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. Samara watched from the observation deck of the International Space Station as the alien armada approached. Her heart raced, a mix of scientific curiosity and primal fear warring within her. "This is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force," came the steady voice over the comms. "Unknown vessels, you have entered restricted space. Please identify yourselves and state your intentions." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then, a response came, not in sound, but in images and sensations projected directly into the minds of every human in the solar system. Confusion gave way to horror as the message became clear. The Zirconians were not here for peaceful first contact. They were conquerors, harvesters of worlds, and Earth was their next target. Their ultimatum was simple: surrender and serve as a slave race, or be annihilated. Humanity had 48 hours to decide. As panic spread across the globe, Samara clenched her fists, a fierce determination burning in her chest. This was not how humanity's story would end. They had survived ice ages, plagues, and their own destructive impulses. They would survive this too. "We need a plan," she said, her voice cutting through the chaos of the command center. "Something they won't expect. Something human." In that moment, as the shadow of alien ships loomed over the Earth, the true test of humanity's ingenuity and spirit was about to begin. The Zirconians thought they had found an easy conquest. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. As news of the alien ultimatum spread, Earth erupted into chaos. Riots broke out in major cities, doomsday cults gained millions of followers overnight, and governments struggled to maintain order. But amidst the panic, pockets of resistance formed. Scientists, soldiers, and ordinary citizens alike refused to accept defeat. In a secure bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, world leaders convened an emergency summit. Samara found herself there, surrounded by the most powerful people on the planet, all looking to her for answers. Dr. Petal, the Secretary General of the United Nations, addressed her, his voice grave. "You've studied their message more than anyone. What can you tell us about these Zirconians?" Samara took a deep breath, centering herself before speaking. "They're advanced far beyond us technologically, but they're not invincible. Their message, while threatening, also revealed weaknesses." She manipulated the holographic display, bringing up images extracted from the alien transmission. "Their biology is silicon-based, not carbon like ours. They require extreme heat and pressure to survive, conditions similar to the core of a gas giant. Earth's environment is as hostile to them as the vacuum of space is to us." A murmur of hope rippled through the assembled leaders. The president of the African Union leaned forward, her eyes sharp. "So they can't simply land and take over. But their ships are designed to withstand the rigors of space travel," Samara finished. "Yes, but that same design makes them vulnerable in other ways. They're built for the void between stars, not planetary assault." The Chinese premier spoke up, his tone cautious but determined. "What are you suggesting, Dr. Petal?" Samara's eyes blazed with intensity. "I'm suggesting we fight. Not with brute force, we'd lose that battle before it began, but with ingenuity, with the very thing that makes us human, our adaptability." For the next hour, Samara outlined a daring plan. It was risky, perhaps even foolhardy, but it was the best chance humanity had. As the details were hammered out, a sense of purpose replaced the earlier despair. Meanwhile, in a research facility on the outskirts of Tokyo, Dr. Elena Chen worked feverishly. The xenobiologist had been analyzing the Zirconian biology data non-stop since the transmission. There was something there, just beyond her grasp, a potential weakness that could turn the tide. Come on," she muttered, her eyes burning from staring at screens for too long. Simulations ran, each one refining her hypothesis. And then, just as the facility's sirens began to wail, a warning that the 48-hour deadline was approaching, she saw it. "That's it," she exclaimed, her hands shaking with excitement and exhaustion. "That's how we beat them." Across the planet, in a dusty bar on the outskirts of Nairobi, Jake Hawkins nursed a drink and watched the news with growing anger. The ex-military pilot had left service years ago, disillusioned with the bureaucracy and politics. But now, as he saw the fear in people's eyes and the alien ships looming in the sky, he felt a familiar fire igniting in his chest. "Damn it," he growled, slamming down his glass. He knew he couldn't sit this one out. Humanity needed every skilled pilot it could get, and Jake was one of the best. As he strode out of the bar, purpose in every step, he didn't notice the sleek black car pulling up beside him. The window rolled down, revealing a face he hadn't seen in years. "Hello, Jake," said Samara Petal, a grim smile on her face. "How'd you like to save the world?" Jake's eyebrow arched. "I thought you were some big-shot scientist now. What do you need a washed-up pilot for?" Samara's eyes gleamed with a mixture of determination and something else. Was it fear? "Because what we're about to do has never been done before. We're going to infiltrate an alien mothership." Jake stared at her for a long moment, then barked out a laugh. "Well, when you put it like that, how can I refuse?" As Jake climbed into the car, events were already in motion across the globe. In hidden facilities and secret labs, Operation Stardust, humanity's desperate gambit for survival, was taking shape. The Zirconians had given Earth 48 hours to surrender, but when that deadline arrived, they would find not a broken, cowering species, but one united in defiance. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why you should never, ever underestimate them. As the car sped towards a hidden airfield, Samara briefed Jake on the audacious plan. Operation Stardust was a multi-pronged attack, combining Elena's biological research with cutting-edge stealth technology and good old-fashioned human courage. We've retrofitted a prototype stealth ship with a drive system reverse-engineered from the Zirconian transmission, Samara explained, her words coming fast and urgent. It's not faster than light, but it's close, and more importantly, it should be invisible to their sensors. Jake whistled, impressed despite himself. And let me guess, you want me to fly this untested wonder right into the heart of their fleet? Samara nodded, her expression grim. Exactly. You'll be carrying a team of our best, scientists, soldiers, and specialists. Your mission is to infiltrate their mothership, gather intel, and if possible, deploy Dr. Chen's countermeasure. As they arrived at the airfield, Jake got his first look at the ship that might just save humanity. The Nighthawk was a sleek, predatory thing, its surface covered in light-absorbing material that seemed to drink in the very air around it. She's beautiful, Jake murmured, running a hand along the hull. A voice behind him made him turn. And she's all yours, hotshot. Elena Chen approached, her lab coat fluttering in the breeze. Despite the bags under her eyes, there was a fierce energy about her. I hear you're the one flying us into certain death. Jake grinned, some of his old cockiness returning. Flying us in is the easy part, Doc. It's getting us out alive that'll be the trick. As final preparations were made, tension mounted across the globe. The Zirconian ultimatum was about to expire, and humanity's response was ready. In orbit, the Earth Defense Fleet, a hodgepodge of retrofitted satellites, hastily armed civilian ships, and a handful of military spacecraft, stood ready. They were hopelessly outgunned, but their job wasn't to win. It was to buy time and create a distraction. At precisely 600 UTC, as the alien deadline passed, humanity made its move. The defense fleet engaged, a swarm of missiles and energy weapons lighting up the sky. It was like gnats attacking a giant, but it had the desired effect. The Zirconian fleet turned its attention to the attack, weapons blazing. In the chaos of the space battle, a single ship slipped away from Earth, cloaked in technology that bent light and sensor readings around it. The Nighthawk accelerated rapidly, pushing its experimental engines to the limit as it raced towards the Zirconian mothership. Inside, Jake's hands danced over the controls, his focus absolute. Behind him, Samara, Elena, and a team of Earth's best and brightest strapped themselves in, each lost in their own thoughts as they hurtled towards an uncertain fate. As they approached the massive alien vessel, Jake's voice came over the intercom, tense but controlled. We're entering their outer defense perimeter. If this cloaking tech works like it's supposed to, we should be invisible. If not, well, it's been nice knowing you all. Samara gripped her seat tightly, her heart pounding. Everything, the fate of Earth, of humanity itself, rested on what they did in the next few hours. The Nighthawk glided silently through space, dwarfed by the colossal Zirconian mothership. As they drew closer, details became visible, strange, undulating patterns on the hull, pulsing with an eerie light. My God, Elena breathed, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding her fear. It's alive. The ship, it's a living organism. This revelation added a new layer of complexity to their mission. They weren't just infiltrating a vessel. They were about to enter a gargantuan silicon-based life form. Jake's voice crackled over the comm again. I'm detecting what looks like an access port. Hang on, this is going to be tricky. With a series of precise maneuvers, he guided the Nighthawk into a cavernous opening. As they passed through an energy field, gravity reasserted itself, and the ship settled onto what passed for a floor. We're in, Jake announced, a note of disbelief in his voice. I can't believe that actually worked. As the team prepared to disembark, Samara addressed them one last time. Remember, we have 3 objectives. Gather intelligence on their weaknesses, plant Dr. Chen's bioweapon if possible, and sabotage their systems to buy Earth more time. Stay alert, stay together, and may whatever gods you believe in watch over us all. With those words, the airlock cycled open, and humanity took its first steps onto an alien vessel. The interior of the Zarkonian mothership was like nothing they had ever seen. Organic curves melded with crystalline structures, pulsing with an inner light that seemed to react to their presence. The air was thick and sulfurous, barely breathable even through their advanced filtration systems. As they moved deeper into the ship, they encountered no resistance. In fact, they saw no signs of the Zarkonians at all. "Where is everyone?" Jake muttered, his hand never far from his weapon. Elena, busy taking readings with her portable scanner, looked up with wide eyes. "They're all around us. The ship, it's not just their transport, it's them. We're inside a giant, collective organism." This revelation sent a shiver through the team. They weren't just on a mission anymore, they were invaders in a living body. As they reached what appeared to be a central chamber, they made another startling discovery. Suspended in crystalline pods were hundreds of alien forms, but not Zarkonians. These were a diverse array of species, all in some sort of stasis. Prisoners, Samara breathed, her mind racing. All specimens. Before they could investigate further, a piercing alarm rang out. They had been detected. "So much for stealth," Jake growled, readying his weapon. But what emerged from the shifting walls wasn't Zarkonian defenders. Instead, a group of aliens, similar to those in the pods, but free and alert, approached them. Their leader, a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin, spoke in a language none of them understood, but its intent was clear: "Follow us." With no better options, the team complied. They were led through twisting corridors to a hidden chamber, where dozens of aliens from various species huddled. The leader touched a device on its neck, and suddenly, its words became comprehensible. "You are not of the collective," it said, its voice melodious yet filled with urgency. "You fight them." Samara stepped forward, her diplomatic training kicking in. "Yes, they threaten our world. Who are you?" "We are the Resistance," the alien replied. "Survivors of worlds the Zarkonian collective has consumed. We have waited eons for others to fight back. Perhaps together we can end their reign of terror." Humanity's desperate plan. The revelation of alien allies within the Zarkonian motherships sent shockwaves through the human team. Samara's mind raced with the implications, both tactical and ethical. These beings, survivors of countless consumed worlds, could be the key to turning the tide against the collective. "I'm Dr. Samara Patel," she introduced herself, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "We're from Earth, the planet the Zarkonians are currently attacking. We came here to find a way to stop them." The alien leader, who introduced itself as Zixlara of the Aetherian species, nodded solemnly. "The collective's hunger is never satisfied. Your world would not have been the last." Jake, ever the pragmatist, cut in. "This is fascinating and all, but we're on a clock here. How can you help us take these silicon bastards down?" Zixlara's iridescent skin rippled, a sign of what might have been amusement. "Direct, I like that. We've been gathering intelligence and sabotaging systems for cycles, but we lacked the means to strike a decisive blow. Perhaps together we can change that." Elena stepped forward, her eyes bright with scientific curiosity. "I've developed a bioweapon that should disrupt their silicon-based biology, but we need to find a way to distribute it throughout the entire collective." The alien resistance members exchanged looks of excitement and hope. One of them, a squat, multi-limbed being, spoke up. "The central node. It's where the collective's shared consciousness is most concentrated. If we can introduce your weapon there, it would spread to the entire organism." As the group huddled to plan their assault on the central node, Earth's defensive fleet continued its desperate battle in space. The human ships, hopelessly outgunned, fought with a ferocity that surprised even the Zarkonian collective. Each destroyed vessel bought precious minutes for the ground teams preparing Earth's last-ditch defenses. Admiral Chen, commanding the fleet from the retrofitted space station Horizon, watched with a mixture of pride and anguish as another cruiser sacrificed itself to take out a Zarkonian weapon emplacement. "Keep fighting," he urged over the comms. "Every second counts. Earth is counting on us." Back on the mothership, the combined human-alien team moved swiftly through the organic corridors. Zixlara and the other resistance members knew the layout intimately, guiding them past patrols and through hidden passages. As they neared the central node, Elena worked feverishly to adapt her bioweapon for maximum effect. "The collective's biology is even more complex than I imagined," she muttered, making rapid adjustments to her formula. "But if I can just—" Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. The walls pulsed an angry red, and the air grew thick with a noxious gas. "They've detected us," Zixlara hissed. "We must hurry." Jake, taking point with his weapon at the ready, grinned despite the danger. "Well, folks, looks like we're in for one hell of a fight. Just how I like it." As they rounded the final corner to the central node, they were met with a sight that stopped them in their tracks. The chamber before them was vast, easily the size of a small city. At its center floated a pulsating, crystalline structure that hurt the eyes to look at directly. "The collective's core consciousness," Zixlara whispered in awe and fear. But between them and their target stood ranks of Zarkonian defenders, if you could call them that. They were more like antibodies, mindless extensions of the ship's will, armed with weapons that crackled with unknown energies. Samira took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. "This is it, everyone. Everything we've fought for comes down to this moment. For Earth, for all the worlds these monsters have destroyed, and for every world they threaten, we end this here and now." With a primal yell that echoed through time and space, the unlikely alliance of humans and alien resistance fighters charged forward. The fate of not just Earth, but countless civilizations across the galaxy hung in the balance. As energy weapons lit up the chamber and the acrid smell of ozone filled the air, one thought resonated through every mind present. This was humanity's finest hour, and they would not go gentle into that good night. The battle for the central node was chaos incarnate. Jake led the charge, his military training kicking in as he barked orders and laid down covering fire. The alien resistance fighters moved with an eerie synchronicity, their diverse physiologies allowing them to attack from angles the Zarkonian defenses weren't prepared for. Samara found herself in the thick of it, her diplomatic skills now turned to coordinating this impromptu multi-species strike force. "Elena," she shouted over the din of battle. "How much longer?" Elena, crouched behind a pulsating organic barrier, worked furiously on her bioweapon. "Almost there. The collective's biology is adapting in real time. I need to make sure this hits every possible variation." A massive explosion rocked the chamber, and a section of the ceiling came crashing down. Through the breach, they could see the space battle raging outside. Earth's fleet was in tatters, but they were still fighting, still buying time. Jake ducked as a Zarkonian energy blast sizzled overhead. "Whatever you're going to do it fast. We're running out of time and ammo." Zixlara, its iridescent skin now marred with wounds, fought its way to Samara's side. "We cannot hold them much longer. Your weapon must be deployed now, or all is lost." Samara looked at Elena, saw the doubt and fear in her eyes, and made a decision. "Do it. Even if it's not perfect, it's our only shot." Elena nodded grimly and armed the delivery system, a series of canisters designed to aerosolize the bioweapon. "Here goes everything," she muttered, and pressed the launch button. The canisters arsed through the air, trailing iridescent mist as they flew towards the pulsating core of the Zarkonian consciousness. Time seemed to slow as everyone, human, alien resistance, and Zarkonian alike, watched their flight. They impacted with a series of soft thuds, barely audible over the chaos of battle. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the core began to scream. It was a sound that defied description, a psychic wail that tore through the minds of everyone present. The Zarkonian defenders collapsed, writhing in agony. The ship itself shuddered, organic walls rippling and tearing. "It's working," Elena shouted, her voice a mix of elation and horror. "The bioweapon is disrupting their silicon-based neural pathways." As the collective's consciousness thrashed in its death throes, the human-alien alliance fought to escape the rapidly deteriorating mothership. They raced through collapsing corridors, dodging falling debris and bursts of noxious gas. "The hangar bay's just ahead," Zixlara called out, guiding them through the chaos. They burst into the cavernous space, but the Nighthawk waited, only to find it swarming with desperate Zarcomian drones, trying to escape their dying vessel. Jake's eyes narrowed. "I'll clear a path. Everyone, get ready to board fast." What followed was a running battle unlike any in human history. Jake, Samira, Elena, and their alien allies fought tooth and nail, inch by bloody inch, towards that only hope of escape. The Nighthawk's engines hummed to life, responding to Jake's remote commands. As the last of their team scrambled aboard, Jake threw himself into the pilot's seat. "Hang on to something," he yelled, punching the throttle. The Nighthawk shot out of the disintegrating mothership like a bullet from a gun, narrowly avoiding grasping tendrils of dying organic matter. Behind them, the massive Zarcomian vessel began to implode, taking a significant portion of the invasion fleet with it. As they raced back towards Earth, Samara opened a channel to Admiral Chen. "This is Dr. Petal. Mission accomplished. The Zarconian threat has been neutralized. I repeat, the threat has been neutralized." For a moment, there was only stunned silence. Then, cheers erupted across every communication channel. On Earth, in space, and aboard the battered Nighthawk, celebrations broke out as the realization set in. Against all odds, humanity had triumphed. But as Samura looked at the ragtag group of humans and aliens crowded into the Nighthawk's cabin, she knew this was only the beginning. They had won the battle, but the war for galactic peace and understanding was just starting. As Earth grew larger in their viewscreen, Samura smiled. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew one thing for certain: humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. The cosmic awakening. As the Nighthawk descended through Earth's atmosphere, the true magnitude of what they had accomplished began to sink in. Humanity had not only survived its first encounter with hostile alien life, but had emerged victorious against overwhelming odds. The implications were staggering. Jake's voice crackled over the intercom as he guided the ship towards a predetermined landing site. "Ladies, gentlemen, and our esteemed alien allies, welcome to Earth. I'd like to say the ride ends here, but something tells me we're just getting started." Samara couldn't help but smile at his words. He was right, of course. The defeat of the Zarcomian collective was just the beginning of a new era for humanity. As they touched down on a remote airfield, they were greeted by a sight none of them had expected. Thousands of people lined the runway, cheering and waving flags from every nation on Earth. News of their victory had spread like wildfire, and humanity had come out in force to welcome its heroes. By the cosmic winds, Zixlara breathed, its iridescent skin shimmering with emotion. "I've never seen such unity among the species before." Elena, her eyes wide with wonder, placed a hand on the alien's shoulder. "This is humanity at its best. When we come together, there's nothing we can't accomplish." As they disembarked, they were immediately swarmed by officials, reporters, and cheering crowds. Samara found herself at the center of it all, thrust into the role of spokesperson for this unprecedented moment in human history. "Dr. Patel," a reporter shouted over the din, "what does this mean for Earth's future in the galactic community?" Samara took a deep breath, aware that her words would be broadcast to billions around the world. "Today marks a new chapter for humanity. We've proven that we can stand toe-to-toe with advanced alien civilizations. But more importantly, we've made allies among the stars. Our victory wasn't just for Earth, it was for all free beings in the galaxy." As if on cue, Zixlara and the other alien resistance members emerged from the Nighthawk. A hush fell over the crowd, followed by a wave of gasps and excited murmurs. Jake, ever the showman, couldn't resist the moment. He stepped forward, grinning broadly. "Everyone, meet our new friends. They're a long way from home, so let's show them some good old Earth hospitality." The crowd erupted in cheers, any fear or xenophobia overwhelmed by the euphoria of victory and the realization that they were not alone in the universe. In the days that followed, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in its history. The revelation of alien life, both hostile and friendly, had shattered old paradigms and forced humanity to rethink its place in the cosmos. Governments scrambled to adapt to this new reality. The United Nations convened an emergency session to establish the first-ever Department of Extraterrestrial Affairs. Dr. Samara Patel, hailed as the hero of the Zarcomian conflict, was unanimously chosen to lead it. Meanwhile, Elena found herself at the forefront of a scientific revolution. Her work on the bioweapon had unlocked new understanding of xenobiology, opening up possibilities that were previously thought to be in the realm of science fiction. "We're on the brink of a new age of discovery," she announced at a packed press conference. "The knowledge shared by our alien allies, combined with our own ingenuity, could lead to cures for diseases we thought incurable, clean energy solutions, and technologies beyond our wildest dreams." Ake, for his part, became the face of Earth's new space defense initiative. His daring piloting during the mission had captured the world's imagination, and thousands of young people were now clamoring to follow in his footsteps. "We got lucky this time," he said, in a rare serious moment during an interview. "Next time, and trust me, there will be a next time, we need to be ready. The galaxy's a big place, and not everyone out there is friendly." But perhaps the most profound changes were happening on a cultural level. Art, music, and literature exploded with cosmic themes. Children played with toys of alien species, both real and imagined. Schools rushed to include xenostudies in their curricula. Zixlara and the other alien refugees became celebrities in their own right, eagerly sharing their knowledge and cultures with their human hosts. In return, they marveled at the diversity and vibrancy of Earth's civilizations. "Your world is a wonder," Zixlara told Samara one evening, as they watched the sunset from the balcony of the newly established Galactic Embassy. "So many different peoples, beliefs, and ways of life, yet you found a way to unite. It gives me hope for the future of this galaxy." Samara nodded, her eyes fixed on the horizon where the first stars were becoming visible. "We're not perfect, far from it, but we're learning, growing. And now, with the knowledge that we're not alone in the universe, I believe we'll push ourselves to be better than ever before." As night fell, cities around the world lit up with holographic displays of the cosmos, a reminder of the vast frontier that now lay open before them. Humanity stood on the threshold of a new age, the age of cosmic awakening. But even as Earth celebrated its victory and newfound place in the galactic community, shadows lurked on the fringes of known space. The Zarconian collective, while defeated, was not destroyed. And other, older powers had taken notice of the young species that had so decisively announced its presence on the cosmic stage. In the depths of space, ancient eyes turned towards the small blue planet, and plans were set in motion that would once again test humanity's resolve, ingenuity, and spirit. As Samara gazed at the stars, a shiver ran down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that their greatest challenges and greatest adventures still lay ahead. "Ready or not," she whispered to the cosmos, "here we come." Cosmic Crucible. The euphoria of Earth's victory over the Zarcomian collective had barely begun to subside when the next crisis struck. It came not with the thunder of invasion ships, but with the quiet ping of a deep space probe. Dr. Elena Chen stared at the data streaming across her holographic display, her face pale with shock. "This can't be right," she muttered, running the analysis again. "What is it?" Samara asked, leaning over Elena's shoulder. They were in the newly established Galactic Command Center, a marvel of human and alien technology nestled deep within the Rocky Mountains. Elena's voice was barely above a whisper. "The Void Cascade. It's real." The Void Cascade, a theoretical phenomenon so catastrophic that even the Zarkonians feared it. According to ancient alien legends, it was a wave of anti-energy capable of unraveling the very fabric of space-time, leaving nothing but eternal darkness in its wake. How long? Jake asked, his usual bravado replaced by grim determination. Elena's fingers flew over the holographic controls. Based on these readings, 3 months before it hits the outer edges of our solar system. Samara felt the weight of billions of lives settle on her shoulders. We need to alert the Galactic Council immediately. The Galactic Council, a hastily formed alliance of Earth and the refugee species they'd rescued from the Zarkonian mothership. It was humanity's first step into interstellar politics, and now it faced a trial by fire. Within hours, representatives from a dozen species were gathered in the council chambers. The atmosphere was tense, filled with fear and accusations. Zixlara, now Earth's ambassador to the council, raised its iridescent hands for silence. Friends, allies, this is no time for panic or blame. We face a threat greater than any single species. We must unite or perish. A holographic map of the galaxy materialized in the center of the chamber. The void cascade appeared as a creeping darkness, consuming everything in its path. There is a chance, Elena said, stepping forward. The legends speak of an artifact, the Cosmic Codex. It's said to contain the knowledge of the precursors, the ancient race that seeded our galaxy with life. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The precursors were thought to be nothing more than myth, a cosmic fairy tale. And you believe this codex could stop the void cascade? Asked Krollfax, a warlike species known for their strategic brilliance. Helena nodded. If it exists, and if we can decode it, yes. A cosmic scavenger hunt, while the universe unravels, Jake quipped, though his eyes were serious, no pressure. Samara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. We don't have a choice. Humanity pulled off one miracle in defeating the Zarkonians. Now we need another, not just for Earth, but for all sentient life. The council chamber erupted in a flurry of activity as plans were made and alliances forged. Earth, the youngest member of the galactic community, now found itself leading a desperate mission to save creation itself. 3 ships were chosen for the mission, each representing the peak of their respective civilizations' technology. The Stardancer, Earth's contribution, a sleek vessel combining reverse-engineered Zarkonian tech with humanity's innate ingenuity. The Void Whisper, a living ship grown by the Etherian species, capable of navigating the treacherous currents of subspace. The Quantum Forge, a marvel of Krollfaxian engineering, able to manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. As the crews prepared for departure, Samara found herself addressing a global audience. Billions of faces looked to her for hope, for reassurance that their newfound place in the cosmos wouldn't be snuffed out just as it had begun. People of Earth, she began, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her heart. We stand at the precipice of our greatest challenge yet. The universe has called, and we must answer. Not as Americans or Chinese, not as humans or aliens, but as sentient beings united against the dark. She paused, looking directly into the camera. I won't lie to you. The odds are long, and the stakes couldn't be higher. But I've seen what we're capable of when we come together. We are the species that reached for the stars, that defeated the incomparable, that dared to dream of a better tomorrow. Now, we carry the hopes not just of Earth, but of countless worlds across the galaxy. As Samara's words rang out across the planet, final preparations were made. Jake, Elena, and a hand-picked crew of Earth's finest boarded the Stardancer. Similar scenes played out on ships around the world as the joint fleet prepared to embark on their desperate mission. In the depths of space, the Void Cascade continued its relentless advance, a tide of uncreation that threatened to erase everything in its path. Yet against this cosmic darkness, a spark of hope flared to life, the combined will of multiple species, united in their determination to survive. As the mission fleet prepared to jump into the unknown, Samara's final words echoed across the cosmos. Go forth, not just for Earth, but for all life. Go forth, and may the stars themselves light your way. With a flash of energy that momentarily outshone the sun, the fleet vanished into the depths of space, carrying with them the fate of the galaxy. The cosmic crucible had begun, and the universe would never be the same. Echoes of eternity. The vastness of space stretched before the joint fleet as they emerged from their first hyperspace jump. The Stardancer, Void Whisper, and Quantum Forge hung in formation, their crews united by a common purpose that transcended species and star systems. Jake's voice crackled over the intercom of the Stardancer. Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of indeterminate gender, welcome to the edge of known space. If you look out your viewports, you'll see absolutely nothing of interest. That's because we're in the middle of cosmic nowhere. Elena rolled her eyes, but couldn't suppress a smile. Jake's humor, inappropriate as it sometimes was, helped keep the crew's spirits up in the face of their daunting mission. Sensors are picking up some kind of anomaly, reported Zixlara from its station. The Aetherian's iridescent skin rippled with concentration. It's unlike anything in our database. On the main view screen, a swirling vortex of energy materialized. It pulsed with colors that hurt the human eye to look at directly, shifting and changing in ways that defied the laws of physics. By the cosmic core, breathed Krolfax, the Krolfaxian commander linking in from the Quantum Forge. It's a precursor nexus point. The legends were true. Elena's eyes widened with excitement. If we can stabilize it, this could be our first clue to finding the cosmic codex. As the three ships approached the nexus point, reality itself seemed to warp and twist around them. Strange echoes reverberated through the hulls, whispers from the dawn of time, the laughter of long-dead stars, the birth cries of galaxies yet to be born. Suddenly, alarms blared across all three vessels. Energy spike, shouted Zixlara. Something's coming through. In a blinding flash of light, a massive ship emerged from the nexus point. It dwarfed their fleet, its hull gleaming with technology so advanced it might as well have been magic. This is High Archon Zinvora of the Eternal Concordat, boomed a voice in all their minds. Lower your shields and prepare to be judged. Jake's hand hovered over the weapons controls. I don't suppose they're here to welcome us to the neighborhood. Samara stepped forward, her diplomatic instincts kicking in. This is Dr. Samira Patel of Earth. We come seeking the Cosmic Codex to stop the Void Cascade. We mean you no harm. There was a long pause, and then the Void Cascade returns. Impossible. That threat was sealed away eons ago by the precursors themselves. Elena interjected, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and scientific curiosity. It's true. We have proof. Please, we need your help. Another pause, this one stretching for what felt like eternity. Then, to everyone's shock, the massive ship's weapons powered down. You may approach, said Zinvora. But know this, if you speak falsely, the punishment will be beyond your comprehension. As the joint fleet docked with the Eternal Concordat's ship, the crews found themselves stepping into a world beyond imagination. The interior shifted and flowed like liquid crystal, responding to the thoughts and emotions of those within. Zenvora herself was a being of pure energy, her form barely constrained by a shimmering containment field. We are the caretakers, she explained, her voice resonating in their minds. Left behind by the precursors to watch over their legacy until the younger races were ready. She led them to a vast chamber, at the center of which floated a simple cube, no larger than a human hand. Yet as they watched, the cube unfolded, revealing layers upon layers of impossible geometry. The Cosmic Codex, Zinvora intoned. Within it lies the knowledge to reshape reality itself. But be warned, such power comes at a terrible price. Samara stepped forward, her voice steady despite the awe she felt. We understand the risks, but the Void Cascade threatens not just our worlds, but all of existence. We have to try. Zinvora's form pulsed with what might have been approval. Then let the trial of ascension begin. If you are worthy, the Codex will reveal its secrets. If not... She didn't need to finish the sentence. The implied threat hung in the air like a physical presence. As the joint crew prepared to face whatever challenges the cosmic codex might pose, they knew that the fate of the universe hung in the balance. The void cascade continued its relentless advance, devouring galaxies in its wake. And somewhere in the depths of space, other forces stirred, ancient powers awakening to the realization that the cosmic game board had changed. Jake cracked his knuckles, a grin spreading across his face despite the gravity of the situation. Well, folks, looks like we've got a universe to save. Again, who's ready for some impossible odds and last-minute heroics? Elena and Samira exchanged a look, equal parts exasperation and fondness. This was humanity at its core, facing the unknown with determination, wit, and just a touch of madness. As they stepped towards the cosmic codex, ready to face whatever trials awaited them, one thing was certain: win or lose, the legend of Earth and its unlikely band of cosmic heroes would echo through eternity. The chamber hummed with ancient power, the cosmic codex pulsing with energies beyond mortal comprehension. And as our heroes prepared to face their greatest challenge yet, the very fabric of reality held its breath, waiting to see if this young, brash species from a backwater planet could truly grasp the keys to creation itself. The trial of ascension had begun, and the fate of all existence hung in the balance.